Hello, I'm Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priest for Life. Welcome to our program. And of course, abortion is in the news every day. That's all we're hearing about. We're in this election season. The Democrats, they want to make abortion in a lot of states on these ballot initiatives, till birth, all 9 months of pregnancy, healthy babies, healthy mothers in your state constitution. So I thought today we would take a look at abortion from a woman's perspective, of a woman who's had an abortion, and we're going to see what she has to say about her experience. So joining me today is Jen Shea, and she's the regional coordinator for our Silent No More awareness campaign up in Illinois. Jen, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you for having me.
Well, they're selling abortion, as you know, right now, as they say, abortion's on the ballot. And it's on the ballot, and they make it sound like this is reproductive health. This is good for women. They need to decide what happens to their bodies. Well, I hate to tell these women, the baby is a separate whole human being inside your body. So tell us about your circumstances. What got you to the point that you scheduled an abortion?
Well, my abortion took place back in 1978. So my situation occurred on the heels of Roe v. Wade. I'm not even sure when I look back now at my tender age of 19, how I even knew about abortion. But I was away at college at a university, and I had become quite serious, as serious as you can be with my boyfriend at the time. I was in love for the first time. And he had asked me at one point to be the mother of his children. I want to note that he was 18 at the time, so we were, he was quite young. About 3 weeks later, I discovered that I was pregnant. And he did a U-turn, and he basically came to me and said, you know what I want you to do. And he gave me money. And I was absolutely devastated because, of course, I was referencing that conversation we'd had just a few weeks earlier. And so at that time, I was faced with an incredible lack of courage, fear as a teenager. And there were significant problems at home that precluded me from even considering going home to my parents. Now, when I look back on it, all these years later, and I'm in my 60s now, I realized that my parents would have been absolutely devastated had they known I didn't come home. But at that time, I just didn't see a way out. I was in school, and so that's where things were at. There were no ultrasounds back then. I went to a local women's center. It was just your typical screening. And I had them do it twice because I was just in shock. But there were no services at all. Ultrasound hadn't even come about, or wasn't even in the future on the horizon at that time.
And
So
back in those days too, they still say it today. They tell the girls, well, it's just a clump of cells. It's not even developed yet. Don't worry, and make it sound like a safe and simple procedure. All right, so you went, had the abortion. Couple of questions. Number one, did the relationship continue with your boyfriend, or did it dissolve? And how did you feel immediately following that abortion?
The relationship with my boyfriend deteriorated over time. When I got back to school, I did come home, and I never told my parents, but did go back to school, and there was no trust there anymore. It just wasn't there, and it just continued to deteriorate over time. How I felt immediately after the abortion was absolute despair and regret. Within a minute after the procedure, I went into a state of shock, and I didn't come out of that for many years because I just wanted to go back. The choice was no longer there for me. Obviously, that's what abortion does. It takes away what we perceive as the choice. And my internal emotional well-being completely deteriorated at that point. I couldn't stand what I had done. I couldn't find solace. Um, I went to the church right away. I did receive support at the church, but it was short-lived because, truth be told, I had a level of self-loathing after that period of time and such a depth of regret that stayed with me for 30 years before I was even able to talk about it. Um, my behavior became pretty erratic. I went through periods of depression. Um, and of course, I kept a lot of that to myself as much as I could. So it was not what is portrayed today to our society and as a whole. It's a silent pain, and for many people, a depth of regret that's hard to come to terms with.
So now you spent a number of years in this state of depression. What was it that broke that cycle of depression so that you would finally find healing and peace?
Well, I ended up going through truthfully, a conversion to my faith. I had a deepening of my faith, and I started to pursue that. And through prayer, and I feel the guidance from our Blessed Mother, I was able to step out of a mindset that because of what I did, I needed to be pro-choice or pro-abortion. I felt very much hypocritical to stand up and be advocating for pro-life after what I myself did. For many years, it didn't feel right. So I was kind of stuck in this cycle and of confusion and uncertainty. I had to face the gravity of what I had done, which I ran away from, both figuratively and emotionally. And I went through an experience through prayer where I realized that I could be an advocate for life because of my abortion, which is what I did and what I turned to. And it was right around that time that I learned about Silent No More, and I started to pursue what would be involved in a healing program, which they absolutely require in order to become involved. So I did go to Rachel's Vineyard. I did go through their amazing program. It's a hands-on living experiential retreat that took me to a whole new level of healing. And from there, I was able to actually pursue a pro-life approach and a pro-life stance and belief system.
That's terrific. So if you could say one thing, a lot of people are going to go into a lot of states this election cycle, and they have these ballot initiatives in their states, which, as you know, not where you live in Illinois, but other states, there's about 10 of them that will put abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy in the state constitution. So as a woman who's had an abortion, if you could just say something briefly to voters why they should vote no on these ballot initiatives, what would you say tell them and why?
Well, abortion is cloaked in deception. The language that is used now to portray abortion describes it as freedom, as freedom from responsibility. It's supposed to fix problems. It's supposed to make life better. It's supposed to open up doors for opportunities, and it's supposed to be something that's just over, and you kind of just go on with your life in a way that's almost better than it was before. And that's what's really portrayed out there. The reality of that is that abortion requires, in order to heal from that, a reconciling of despair. There are higher suicide rates as a result of abortion. Many people realize the gravity of what they've done after the fact because of the language that's used out there. So the devastation and the emotional fallout is contrary to what people are hearing out there. And I would encourage people to learn more about that and to start, quite honestly, to believe the information that's out there from places like Advocates for Life or Pro-Life Action League. Silent No More has a website that has multitudes of testimony from men and women who regret abortion, but it's important for people to know why they regret that. I would like to believe that had there been some of the resources available back in when I had my abortion, like ultrasound and different things like that, that I might have realized the humanity of my child. I am 65 years old, Janet, now, and I am acutely aware that I would have a child that was about 40. I think about 45 right now. I would probably have grandchildren. My grandchildren would have gone on to have children as well. So not only did I wipe out my own child, I wiped out the generations that would have come. And at this time in my life, I've gone through multiple losses of family members, and I miss those grandchildren too. I miss the potential for having had grandchildren. So I think people need to be well aware. I don't think folks think about that either. It's a devastating loss that takes you takes takes you through the rest of your life in different forms, and it is absolutely the deepest regret of my life.
Well, Jen, I have to thank you for being silent no more. Um, Continue your great work up there in Illinois as a regional coordinator for the campaign. And thank you for sharing your story. Hopefully, hearts and minds will be changed because of it. So, thank you and God bless. Well, brothers and sisters, I hope you learned some more today. Abortion, always bad for the baby, always bad for the mother, too. Go to abortiontestimony.com and read more of those stories and spread them. And all these ballot initiatives that are going on in all 10 states, vote no on those ballot initiatives. This is Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priest for Life. Thank you for joining us, and God bless.